to ask any questions, don't hesitate to ask questions, because we are all here to help each other. Because this thing is about family matters, and whatever is going on during this COVID-19. A lot of people have been affected positively and negatively. So after I finish talking, then we can all put questions across to help each other. God bless you. Okay, I'm going to introduce myself and then introduce Family Matters. My name is Pastor Cynthia Osei. I am a teacher by profession. I'm a counselor and a mentor, an event planner, an event decorator. And I've been in the catering industry as well for over 30 years. I am the CEO of Palestine International and founder of Family Matters. My life is dedicated to living by example, encouraging and empowering and mentoring children, youth, women, and men living to their full potential. That is the reason why we are all here today. Now, that's a bit about me, and enough about me too. Now, let me explain what Family Matters is all about. Maybe somebody might want to know what Family Matters is. Family Matters is about day-to-day issues the family deal with every single day. That is marital, parenting, also addressing different types of abuses. You know, we have different types of abuse. We have sibling abuse, we have childhood abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, and teenage domestic abuse. All kinds of abuses, we deal with it in Family Matters. We also deal with neglect, people who have been neglected in the family or in the society. These are the people that we also help. We also deal with people with low self-esteem, people who haven't got confidence, and people who think they don't matter in society. We deal with all these kinds of people. We deal with different races. This thing is not about church. It's definitely not about church. It's about everybody. It's about the community. It's about our lives. We also deal with financial matters or sibling rivalry. We deal with all these things. That is why we are here today, to talk about and then help each other. Now, we all know about COVID-19. COVID-19 took all of us by surprise. It took us by surprise. And this is the first time in our generation or our dispensation that we have experienced this. We know that it happened some years ago, hundreds of years ago, but this is our time for us to experience that. And when that thing came, this COVID-19 came, it hit everybody so hard. A lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of people have lost their loved ones. It's painful. And this has brought fear, anxiety, and panic into the community. Some people are so fearful that they don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. See, that is why we are all here today, to discuss and to help each other. Now, as I rightly put it, we're going to talk about the positive side of COVID-19 and the negative side of COVID-19. Now, I'll just talk about the negative side first. And then when I finish talking about the negative side of COVID-19, and then you can ask questions, or you can also contribute, because this is a community thing. You contribute, and then when we finish that one, the negative one, and then we go to the positive one. So when you look at it, when this COVID-19 happened, a lot of businesses have been shut down. a lot of businesses have been shut down. A lot of people have lost their businesses. A lot of people have lost their jobs. They have been laid off. And when you look at it, some who work in like a low paid industries, they will not get anything. They will not get anything. They've lost out big time. But those who work in good firms or big companies, because of the fair law, most of us will get 80%. That means our wages has been cut off by 20%. You see, this thing has hit a lot of people. And when you look at it too, those people who have their own businesses that are non-payers, tax non-payers, those people has also lost out. If you are a business person and you don't pay tax, now this is the time that you have lost out. I know a lot of businesses, the government will compensate them. The government will definitely compensate some of these people. But by the time that you get your money, it would have been, it will take a long time. But at least it's better than nothing. So this COVID-19 has hit a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs, and a lot of things. So the other one too is schools have shut down. A lot of schools have shut down because of this COVID-19. Now, the children are at home. And so you can imagine how parents are feeling. Now, your bills will go up. Your food expenses will go up because every 20 seconds, a child wants something to eat. When they were in school, it wasn't like that. They will eat in school. They will get whatever they want in school. But because they are at home, definitely they will eat most of the time. Every minute, they want something to eat. And we all can testify what happened when they announced the COVID-19. Look at the way people rushed to the shops. People were fighting over common toilet roll. Look at how people will get up early in the morning. A shop that will open at 10 o'clock, people will go and queue at 4. So look at the impact that it had on us, because we thought there was going to be no tomorrow, or we thought the world was coming to an end. It has affected a lot of us. Some of us bought a lot of things that we don't even need. We don't even need because we thought the shop won't be able to provide anymore. But you see, all these things are part of the negative side of COVID-19. Now, the schools, they said, is going to be opened. Most parents are afraid because the thing is still lingering. COVID-19 is still around. It hasn't gone anywhere. South Korea, they opened, the following week, they closed down because they realized that some of the kids have been affected. A lot of countries, they open schools and now they have to close the school down again or shut it down again. See, these things it's a bit scary and it's a bit disturbing. Now, a place of worship has also been has been shut down. A place of worship has been shut down. But let me announce this to our fellow Christians. You see, this will show whether you serve God or not. A place of worship has been shut down. That does not mean that your God has also shut down. The church that we talk about, the church is you. It's not the building. That building can be used to open a jazz club or open a restaurant. That was just a building. I'm talking to those of you who thought going to church make you a Christian. No. Your relationship with God is the main key. Now, places have shut down. Places of worship have shut down. But thank God, some of us, or most Christians, or most churches, they've been able to meet online to worship God. See, all these things are disturbing. Sports events has been put on hold. No more gym. No more gym. especially those who were so addicted to gym. Now, you can't go to gym. Either you do it at home or you go to the park and do it. It's too much. It's too much. And people are going through a lot. And especially those who live by themselves. They don't have people to talk to. They don't have anybody to talk to. They only go to the gym to make friends or to meet people. But because of all these things, they can't do that. And they said we should what? We should keep social distancing from each other. So now this thing has separated us. It has separated us from our loved ones. When you go to the post office, when you go to the shop, the way things are, somebody standing 2 meters and all that, it's not supposed to be so. But COVID-19 has made it so. COVID-19 has made it's kind of madness. But we need to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules and anything happens to you, it's your own problem. But it shouldn't be so. They said we should avoid crowd. Avoid crowd. Now, a lot of weddings, funerals, parties, so many events have been put on hold. Have been put on hold all because of this COVID-19. When there is a funeral, before they said 20 people, now it's 10 people. So if you have a lot of loved ones coming to your funeral, they cannot come. They cannot come to the funeral. It's only 10 people. So it depends on how many people, the people that you want to choose. All these things are very disturbing, but we need to follow the rules. So when you look at it, COVID-19 has impacted on some of us negatively. Yesterday, on Monday, I watched a live stream of a family that I know. They lost their parents. The mother died on Wednesday and the mother died on Thursday. Now, Monday, they went to bury them. It was so sad. They left 6 children. It was so sad. So when you look at it, these people, they need help. They need counseling. Because father gone, mother's gone. And this thing took them by surprise. They weren't expecting that. It just took them by surprise. So now you see how COVID-19 has impacted negatively on that, on that family. They are telling us to cover our mouth and our nose. Cover our mouth and our nose. So sometimes when you meet somebody, you can't even recognize the person because you can tell people by looking at their face. But if they have covered their face, how would you recognize the person? How would you recognize the person? They're also telling us not to shake hands. Now we shake, you can't even go close to the person to even shake hands instead of shake somebody with an elbow. How do we do that? You can't even go closer because people are afraid. Sitting on the bus, you can't, I mean, it's like as if the person is a monster. You can't even come and sit next to the person because of this COVID-19. COVID-19, this deadly virus has impacted a lot on our people negatively. COVID-19. That is why as human beings or community, we need to come together and help each other. I know social distancing, avoiding the crowd and all that, but this is the time that we need to help each other. This is the time that we all need each other. You can't even hug your loved one. You can't even hug anybody. And even to go to the hospital, you can't go to the hospital as normal. For you to go to the hospital, either you have a heart attack or you have a fracture on your leg or your hand or something like that. That normal sickness, you cannot go there. Because listen, when you go, you are not coming back home. You are not coming back home. It shouldn't be so. But when you look at it, it is so. A lot of people have lost their lives Look at Italy. Look at Italy. A lot of people died. Spain, Brazil, everywhere, even United States, United Kingdom. A lot of people lost their lives. They lost their loved ones. And look at Italy. When it happened like that, they realized that money and all those things, it doesn't matter anymore. Then they realized that life is more important than anything in this world. They threw their money, spread it across the country. The people that will enjoy the money, where are they to enjoy the money? So they had to throw the money away. My dear brothers and sisters, this COVID-19 has really, really, really impacted negatively. It has hit us hard. People are still afraid. People are afraid to go out. Some people, especially those who have other sicknesses, they've been given 3 months not to go out. Is it fair? But now it is so. There's nothing we can do. We have to obey the rules. We need to help each other. We need to seriously help each other. COVID-19 has hit us very, 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 very hard. Very hard. Now, that is the negative part of all that is happening. That is the negative part. So if anybody has any question to ask before I continue with the positive side of it. Does anybody have any question? Is everybody there?
Yes, please.
Anybody have a question? Does anybody have a question?
Maybe not at the moment.
Maybe not at the moment. Okay, right. Now, as I said earlier, this COVID-19 has impacted negatively. It has impacted. Now, you can't even visit your loved ones. You can't even visit your loved ones, especially when they are not well. Even at home, you can't. Sometimes when you see people, the way they have dressed is as if whether they are going to the farm or something like that, they've covered their face and they are wearing gloves. All these things wasn't like that before. But because of this COVID-19, this virus, and I know that COVID-19, my question is, why are they calling it COVID-19, but not COVID-20? This thing was reported in 2020, but not in 2019. But they have termed it COVID-19. That means the government or the leaders, they knew it beforehand. Instead of alerting everybody to take precaution, they did not do that. They waited till the thing has become so severe and out of control. Then they announced it. And then people started dying just like that. They knew it. There was another film that I watched. I think it came out in 2018. And they were talking about COVID-19. So if there was a film in in 2018 talking about COVID-19, that means the thing was even there before. To me, that it was very wicked and evil. It was there before, and they knew what they are doing. They knew what they were doing, and they know what they are doing. It's not fair at all. It is not fair at all. So that they can use this thing to depopulate people. That's not fair. That is not fair. A lot of people had the COVID-19 even way before it was announced. But thank God, some people got cured. Some people got cured. When it got out of hand, that is when they start. Because when you go and they said up to a certain age, if you are over 50, nearly getting to 60, then remember that you're not coming home. You're not coming home. We've had a lot of cases from the mouth of the nurses and then some of the doctors that please don't come to the hospital if you are sick, unless it's so crucial or to the point of death that you have come. Otherwise, you are not coming home. What is going on? What is going on? We need to open our eyes and we need to help each other. We need to help each other. This thing has, to me, I think it was planned for a purpose. I think it was planned for a purpose. Killing a lot of people. Even chickens and goats are not even killed in that manner. Human beings, they put them in tipper truck and just dump them in a mass grave. What kind of a thing is that? What kind of a thing is that? A kind of a thing. Now, a lot of people have, those who haven't got anybody, especially the children who haven't got anybody to take care of them, who have lost their parents, they have to take them to orphanage. And it's not fair. It is not fair. Now schools are closed. And now they said they're going to open the schools. Listen, I'm not advising any parent or if you don't feel comfortable for your child to go to school, don't let the child go to school. Try your best to homeschool them, because this thing is still around. If you feel comfortable, that is fine, let them go. If you feel comfortable, let them go. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I just want to give us advice. If you don't feel comfortable, don't let the children go, because the thing is still around. It is still around. My question is, a lot of people have been coming from different countries to this country. When they get to the airport, are they screened? They don't screen them. They don't test them. They just allow them to go home. Other countries in Africa, as soon as you land from the airport, they screen you, they test you, and they quarantine you for 2 weeks. But this country, they are not doing it. United Kingdom, we are not doing it. They allow people, whether the person has got it or not. And this person is going to mingle with other people, and it's dangerous. So as a parent, if you don't feel comfortable for your child to go to school, please don't let that child go to school. Don't let that child go to school. Because remember, children, they don't know what is called social distancing. They don't know it. They don't know it. They don't understand it. They don't understand it. So if you don't feel comfortable, my dear, don't let them go to school. Don't let them go to school. It's a shame that this thing has happened, but such is life. It's up to us to help ourselves, to help each other during this COVID-19. Now, as I said, has anybody got anything to say before I go to the positive one? Now, I've talked about the negative part. For those of you who just joined, I talked about businesses being shut down, schools being shut down, places of worship being shut down, sports events putting on hold, us keeping distances from each other, not even be able to hug each other or shake hands and all that. You know, you can't even go to the hospital as normal, as usual, as we used to go. You can't. And people have lost their lives, and this thing is still going on. So if anybody has any question to ask or anything to also say to all of us, you can please do so before I go to the positive side of it. Anybody got anything to say?
Yes, I've got a quick contribution.
Okay.
Just in terms of the current situation that we're all experiencing, one advice that I would give everyone on this platform right now is to try not to fear, because I believe that what the government and a lot of people are trying to do is to instill fear within us. And once you become fearful, you start having certain thoughts, and it will have an impact on your life. So it's just a matter of not fearing that something bad is going to happen all the time to you, and just like keep your faith. Amen.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Adobia. Yes, it's true. All this COVID-19, or vaccine, or whatever you're calling it, it's all about fear, anxiety, and panic. It has put a lot of fear in people. Even when you are walking down the road and somebody is passing you, if you don't have a mask on, they will, if they're not careful, they'll even go and into the street. They don't care going into the street than, meeting you. They prefer for a car to knock them down than for you to come closer to them. What kind of a thing is that? What kind of a thing is that? It shouldn't be so, but it is so. It should not be so, but it is so. As Mama Mia Dubia just rightly said, it's fear. A lot of fear has gone into people, anxiety and panic. People panic. And you know what? I know a lot of people lost their lives. Some of them was because of fear or panic. They panic. And when you panic, you make a lot of mistakes. So I will advise all of you, as she said, not to panic. Just trust God. Just trust God and believe God. If you were not able to die during that time, you will not die. Just do the right thing, as they have said. They said, wash your hands. And washing your hands is a normal thing. It's even normal before COVID-19 came in. When you come back from work or shop or from outside, you're supposed to wash your hands. I know some people don't even do it. As soon as they come home, they start putting food in their mouth, using their hands and all that, or buy things, they don't wash it. And you see, all those things was unhygienic. That one is the normal. Washing your hands, yes, is good. Social distancing, now we are all afraid of each other. We are all treating each other as if we are monsters. Everybody is afraid of each other. It should not be so. Thank you, Ms. Adubia. Anybody else before I go on to the positive side of COVID-19?
I've got something to say, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Going on from what you said, you talked about the negative parts and the contribution that Mami made. I just want to ask a simple question. Can we trust the government?
Can we trust the government?
Yep, that's the question.
Yes and no. Yes and no. The yes is that at least they announced it to us, though it was too late for them to announce it. At least they announced it. That is the yes that I know. And that one percentage is very small. But no is that at the moment, the government, they don't have a clue what is going on. Because this virus, they said there's no cure. There is no cure for this COVID-19. Bringing in vaccine, bringing in this and that and that. How do you know that this vaccine is going to work? Number one, the vaccine that we have been receiving years ago, according to sources, has been damaging some of our children. So how can we trust them with this vaccine? How can we? Now they are saying that our children should go to school. Are they going to allow their children to go to school? Are they going to allow their children or their family to go to school? All those people who created the vaccine, are they going to allow their family to receive that vaccine? Are they going to? This is something that we have to think about. The vaccine that they have made, they said they are going to test it in Africa first. If you made a vaccine in your country, what do? You test it in your country before you distribute to other countries. Africa, the death or the cases are not as much as in Europe. The death and the cases are not as much as in Europe. So African, we don't need that vaccine. They should test it in their country first before they can take it to Africa. So to me, we cannot trust them in this pandemic. We cannot trust them. A lot of people went to the hospital. They were not all that sick. When you call the hospital, they'll tell you, oh, they are improving. They are improving. They are in good state. The next day, they'll tell you they are gone. So what is going on? Or what went wrong? What went wrong? So can you trust them? I don't think so. I don't think so. Anybody else, please? Has anybody got any question or contribution?
Yeah, I hello?
Hello,
yeah,
yeah,
no, go on. You go first. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. My main concern here is to do with the whole scenario around the vaccine. Okay. Because I don't think they're being extremely open about the whole vaccine thing.
We're trying to get funding for this thing.
You know, they're not telling us the full story behind the vaccine. And I'm not drifting away from what we're discussing now or taking away from it.
That's fine.
But right now, what's happening in America, you know, with the riots and everything, unfortunately, because of the death of George Floyd.
Oh, I don't trust the government.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, we are listening.
Yeah, with the death of George Floyd, I think that is taking away from the whole discussion around the vaccine, etc. You know, I just
the government, because if I'm told about the government, you can decide whether to continue.
I'll let them go. No. I'll let them go ahead. Let them go ahead.
Mommy, we can hear you. Miss Christine, please.
Thank you. Yes, so I think that is kind of like taking away from actually a very, very, you know, the demonstrations and everything, that's fine. But it's come at such a time when this whole vaccine thing now seems to be going, you know, it's going down and nobody knows what's happening.
That's it.
Very soon they'll spring something up on us out of the blue and we may or may not be forced to take this thing. That is my concern.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Christine. This afternoon, I spoke to somebody, and then the person I was talking about the same vaccine that we are talking about now. And the person said to me, they're going to make it a point that for us to get it, or for them to kind of force it on people, when you are traveling, they will make it as if it's yellow fever vaccine. If you don't take it, you cannot travel to another country. And my question is it by force for us to take it? It's not by force. They shouldn't make it compulsory for everybody. It shouldn't be mandatory. It should not be mandatory. It has to be optional. I don't want to take it. If anything happens to me, yes, let it happen to me. I think that is how they're supposed to do it. Because now it's gone quiet because people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been so upset, whether you are black or yellow or green, or every single person has been talking about it. So now they've gone quiet. They've gone quiet. As you rightly said, for all you know, they'll just spring it up again. They will spring it up again. This is what I said, all of us should come together and have one voice to say, no, we are not going to take any vaccine, because a lot of us had that COVID-19 and we did the right thing by using the natural remedies and it helped us. It helped us. So they should allow us to use that natural remedy that has been going around. A lot of people were sick and they used that natural resources and they got healed. So I think they should give us option not to put it on. So my question is, why are they forcing it on us? Why are they forcing the vaccine on us? This thing has been created by them just to depopulate the whole world. We all know, we know about this thing, and it's not fair. If we parents, we don't voice out things and then leave it. Listen, we have our children, you know, there, you know. If we don't voice out and we just leave it like that, listen, we will not hear good news. Because this COVID-19 is just introduction of the next one that is coming. The next one is more severe than this one. It's more. So if we don't become one and voice out for them to stop all these things, it's going to be something else. Thank you, Miss Christine. Anybody else before I go to the positive? Okay. Thanks
Yeah,
a lot.
my concern is that the virus only affects a specific set of people, which is those from the BAME, Black and Ethnic Minority. So that shows that it's created for a specific people. It's targeted for those set of people. It doesn't seem to affect European people, which shows that, yeah, it's set to kill us, basically.
Yeah. I agree with you, Mr. Najula. I agree with you 100%. That is why I said, if they said they are going to test the vaccine, why don't they test it in their country? If we create it in Africa, we will test it in Africa.
That's right.
Before we bring it to all the other countries. Why do you want to go and test it in Africa before using it in your country? And looking at it, African and the Caribbeans, as I said, the death is not as much as in the Europe. So that's you test it where the thing is severe before you take it to the minority. So this thing is they're up to something. We are not afraid of anybody. That's why I said, if we do not just be one and voice our things, we have children. We have children. We have children. We might think, I mean, as I said, the two, one lady, she died. The next day, the husband also died. Left with such children. On Monday, when I was watching the live stream, I was crying. What? I mean, come on.
And even when you go to the hospital, they will send patients home. And within days, those patients will die.
Well, that's it.
So if they had treated them in the initial state, the first time, they may have had a chance of surviving. So that shows you that they're refusing to give you treatment. And so it's not like the COVID can't be treated. It's just that they're not treating you.
That's it. That's it. You're right.
And if you don't know how to deal with it, you won't be able to survive it.
Yeah, you won't be able to survive it.
No.
You will not be able to survive it, because I've heard a lot of stories from nurses. From nurses, as I said, because we are only, I don't want to say anything, but the thing that I have to say, I will say it. That they've been saying, don't come to the hospital. Don't even come there. Try another remedy. Because you come there, you are not going back home.
Or they inject, I believe the vaccine or whatever you're saying, they're injecting people and giving people medication that is not even helping for their treatment.
No, it's not.
You know, I can't remember the exact story, but a guy he's an old man and he was being given morphine, and basically his son had...
I heard about that.
Yeah, and why would you give him morphine? Because
he's not a cancer patient. Exactly,
and he was in good health, but he had something was wrong with him, and what you're giving him morphine, the morphine is killing him off.
That's it.
So that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they are using morphine to do what? To finish them off. Because they want to depopulate. Listen, we need to be very careful. We need to be very, very careful, and we need to be vigilant, because something is going on. Something is definitely going on.
Yeah.
Something is definitely going on. So we need to be well informed. With COVID-19, we need to be well informed, because it's a virus. Yes, of course, we know it's a virus. It can kill you if you don't take the right precaution. But as soon as you take the right precaution, your life will be saved. And they are not telling us.
That's true.
So they said bacteria kills even more than this COVID-19. They said bacteria. And we have been living with bacteria for how many years now? You know? So we need to be well informed. Well informed. Thank you, Mr. Nigel.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia.
We're going to the positive side of it. Now we finished with the negative. So now we're going to the positive side of COVID-19. Now, when you look at it, most of us are at home since March. Most of us are at home doing what? Not going to work and doing nothing. Now, this COVID-19 has brought restoration to families. It has restored family unit. Before, everybody was busy. Father is busy, mother is busy. And sometimes when the children comes home, either there's nobody at home, or they have to go to, what do you call that? After school club. Or they'll have to go and wait at the library for them. But it's not like that anymore. Or they have to go to the neighbors to wait at the neighbor's house and wait for parents. But now it's not like that. The positive side of this COVID-19, dad is not working, mom is not working, the children at home. So now we are one big family. We are bonding. The things that we couldn't do together as family because of our busy schedule, now we can do it. Now we can do all that. We can all sit at the table and eat together. But before you come and grab your meal without meeting together. But this COVID-19, because all of us at home, we are able to do that. And Christians too, you see, because of fear and because of panic, a lot of Christians have now, they've been able to trust God more. They've been able to trust God more than their money and their material resources. Some of us, we go to work. God has given us life and all that. As I said, this is not about church. This is not about church. This platform is for conference. But I just want to bring everybody in. If you're a Muslim, Hindu, or Buddhism, or whatever, we are all one. We are all the creation of God. Now, Christians now have learned to trust God more because they know that their life is in the hands of God. They have learned to trust Him more than anything. And a lot of people is giving them the opportunity to get closer to God, for them to have a good relationship with God because they are afraid. But those of you who have done that, don't go back to your old ways when the COVID-19 is over. Don't go back because God knows everybody's heart and God is watching us. Women, men now have been able to spend time together. A husband and a wife, now they have time on their hands. I'm talking about those who don't go to work or now they just do part-time. This is the time for you to bond more, for you to show love to each other. This is the time for you to sit and plan for the family. Because a lot of people, we don't plan. We just live life anyhow. We just live by the day or by the week or by the month or by the year. Because we haven't got time. Monday to Friday. Some people even work from Monday to Saturday. And Sunday they go to church. Ladies, Monday to Friday, Saturday you go shopping, you come and then you do all your chores for the week. So there is no time actually to sit with your husband and then go through the family documents or to even sit and plan for your children or for yourself. But this thing has brought you together as family, as husband and wife. And also, this COVID-19 has brought the children together as well, as siblings. And apart from being as siblings, for parents to also have time for their children, to get to know their children even more. Some of us, we don't even know our children because they go to school. And by the time you come home, you pick them from after school club. And what time the after school club closes? 6 o'clock. You get home maybe 7 o'clock. What time do you have to sit down with your children to ask even them what did you do in school or what's happening in your life? Some of us, we don't know. That is how most of our children are just gallivanting around the streets. And some of them become like, they join gangs and all that. This is the time for us to sit and educate and train our children about life. This is the time. So this COVID-19, as much as it's negative, it has its positive as well. So this is the time for parents to sit with your children. And also, looking at this COVID-19, it has allowed some people to slow down their lives. Every time you see some people, you know, they are just all over the place, like headless chicken. They're all over the place, every time busy. They don't even have time for themselves. But this is the opportunity for you to have time for yourself, for you to also slow down and appreciate life, for you to really know that life also matters. This is the time that you also have to sit and assess yourself. You know, it has also brought neighbors together. Though you might not go out to visit anybody, but you can stand at your balcony and chat to your neighbor. Because before, you were always busy. So there was no time to even, maybe some of your neighbors who haven't seen them for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. You said, oh, all right, I haven't seen you for a long time. Are you still here? Yes, I've been around. The reason why you haven't seen them is that you don't have time. You don't have time. So how can you see them? So this thing has brought families together. When you look at Italy, when they were asked to stay home, most of them stood at their balcony and they were chatting. They stood at their balcony and they chatted to each other. And this thing too, COVID-19, has also allowed people to have time and set up their businesses online. A lot of people have been able to set up businesses online. When you look at the Facebook and all that, it's unbelievable. Unlike before, because there was no time, every time you're going to work, every time you're going here, you're going there, there was no time. Now you have time on your hands. And a lot of people, those who have the vision and the technical know-how, now they've been able to set up businesses, food businesses, and then hair products and all kinds of things. So this COVID-19 has been very, very positive for other people. And you yourself, you've got the time to relax, to sit and relax and reflect about your life. You can now even sleep a bit longer than usual. Now you can also have time to exercise. Because of your busy schedule, you get up early, you maybe taking the children to school before you go to work, or you rush out. There's no time. Even for you to have breakfast, you have to just make a toast and then hold the toast and put it in a tissue and then go and sit on the bus and then eat it. Some people don't have time. As soon as they'll get up late. When they get up late, even for them to even brush their teeth, if they delay 1 minute, they'll be late for work. So they'll take their toothbrush and toothpaste and everything, go to work and brush their teeth. But this time, you have time on your hand to do all that, to relax, and then bring the beauty out of you. And the same time, for other people to do some exercise. Some of us who haven't done exercise since the day that we were born, at least this is the time. This is the time for us to exercise. At home, you do the exercise. You put it on YouTube. There are a lot of, exercise programs there. Do it for 30 minutes. Sweat it out. And then by the end of the COVID-19, you are in good shape. But if you don't do that, and this COVID-19 is over, you even your front door, you can't even come through your front door. So this is the time for you to do some exercise for all of us. Now, has anybody got anything to say before I run it up?
Yes, I've got a contribution.
Okay.
I think also this lockdown, if like any, especially marriage couples, if they have any issues, then I feel like when it comes to this lockdown, it would be very easy for them to address it. Because when you're like in a couple and you both work and you're busy, it's very easy to avoid discussing issues going on maybe in the family or in the marriage, because you're always going to work and you have a busy schedule. But now that there's a lockdown and you have to, be around each other more, by all means, if there was like any issues between couples, I feel like it would have to be discussed and dealt with, because you have no choice. You're not going anywhere. You need to talk to someone.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my contribution.
God bless you so much.
Oh, I've got a contribution to with what she said. Yes, in regards to people obviously spending more times with each other, especially couples, I think in a way, during this quarantine, the quarantine can either make strengthen your relationship, or it can completely destroy your relationship, because obviously there are some couples that have been avoiding contact with each other purposely because they barely see each other. But also during this time, it may be hard to believe, but there are couples underneath the same roof and they're still not talking to each other. I think like it gets to a point in a relationship where it's like the communication is not there. So regardless of whether they're underneath the same roof for 1 year, they will still not communicate. So this time is a time that in a way people should take advantage of and try and sort out things. But at the same time, there are people that are just not willing to sort out things, and they will just remain like that regardless. So that's my contribution.
Okay, God bless you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Mami. Has anybody else before I? Right, as you rightly said, yes, there are some people who are so stubborn. They are so stubborn, and they are so we call them hard-hearted. Now, because of your job, it's very easy for you to avoid each other because you're not talking. As couple, you are not talking. Okay, this is an opportunity for you for the two of you to sit and talk, because this time you cannot avoid each other, especially when you have children in the house. Because you were going up and down, it wasn't too obvious for the children to see that you are not talking. But this is the time that the two of you are at home and the children are there. They see mom sitting somewhere, they see dad sitting somewhere. And the whole day, up to the evening, they haven't talked to each other. So what are you trying to, what are you trying to imply? Or what are you trying to show or train the children with? You are supposed to set good example. As I said, this COVID-19 is positive and negative. The positive side is that you haven't been talking for some time. Maybe because I ain't got time to sit down and talk. But now this is the time. You have been in the house. Now it's about maybe 2 months or 6 weeks. And if you are still not talking as couple, then I think those people, they need the vaccine. If the two of you have been in the house for that long and still not talking, I think these couple, they need the vaccine. They need the vaccine. Listen, this COVID-19, God should have just clicked his finger for the thing to just go. God is not an evil man for this thing to happen. There is always a cause and a reason for that. God has given some of us opportunity. As I said, he has brought family together. He has brought neighbors together. He has even given people more business ideas, because now you've got the time to sit and think or reflect. And if you have the opportunity to sit at home with your wife or with your husband, which you haven't been speaking or talking to for maybe 6 months before COVID-19, and you are still not talking, then I don't know what is wrong with you. I don't know what is wrong with you. It's an opportunity. Whatever is going on, God is watching all of us. God is watching every single person, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Buddhist, a Shintoism, or whatever, or whether you are a fetish priest or whoever you are. God is watching all of us. It's an opportunity. Those who have lost their lives, they wish they had this opportunity that you and I had now, for them to straighten their lives or amend their ways and their doings. If you've got the opportunity and you still don't want to change, at the end of the day, it's your own problem. But as I said, we are all here to help each other. I know a lot of us have struggled through this COVID-19. A lot of us have struggled. I know there's a lot of domestic abuse, which shouldn't have been so. Before, it was the domestic abuse wasn't high, but now is now that they are at home, they're supposed to be together, now that the thing has gone up. So what is going on? So this shows that that couple, you cannot live together. The beauty of this COVID-19 too is that we don't see gangs or crimes on the streets. Even if it's there, it's just about a fraction. That is another positive side of it. You don't see all these things. So I beseech all of us on this platform that you've got the opportunity to make a difference in your society or in your community. This is the time for you to do it. Let's help each other and let's help our community. Let's help each other and let's help our community. And my condolences to every single person on this platform that lost their loved ones. My condolences to all of us. And I pray that God will take care of all of us. I'm just taking two more questions or two contribution, and then I close up. Any contribution or any question before we go? Any contribution?
I've got a quick contribution, sorry. I think it's on the same topic that you was just touching upon. So let's say in this situation, a couple whereby they barely come in contact with each other before this pandemic started. They were fine, everything seemed fine. But once they realized that they're now underneath the same roof, they were fine before, but now things are not working out as it used to. So what kind of advice would you give couples whereby they were fine when they had like not much contact, but because they're now underneath the same roof, they're starting to see differences between each other?
Right. Thank you so much for that question. Yes, before they were fine, before they were talking and they were all right. You know, pressure can bring all these things. They are not used to being in the same place for a very long time. Let's say the only time this couple meet is maybe weekend. That is the only time they meet. And everybody's got different temperaments. Every single person has different temperaments. So because they are not used to that, there will always be pressure. That is why I said, these people, they need counseling. You see, there's some people, it's just about them. It's just me. I don't want anybody, to kind of invade my space. But listen, if you are such a person, you don't have to be in a relationship. That is what I will say. Get help before, because I know a lot of people, there are some people like that. They want to be in a relationship, but they don't want people to invade their space. When they are going to work, yes, because they don't see much of each other. Maybe in the morning, hi darling, how are you? Oh, I'll see you later. They will not come home till maybe in the evening. So when they come, there's not much time for them to kind of mingle with each other. As I said, the only time they see each other is weekend. And maybe weekend too, they'll go out, especially when there are no children in that family. They will go out. So they'll go and mingle with other people. So that one is okay for them. But for them, just the two of them in that space, then there's a problem. Apart from that, there are some people who have issues already, who have issues. Even, as you said, well, before COVID, they were fine. They have issues. But because of this confinement, COVID-19 confinement, they become depressed. They become so depressed that they cannot take it on anybody but the next person who's next to them. That will be their spouse or their fiancé or their girlfriend or their boyfriend. So those people, my advice to those people is that they should seek help. There are a lot of counselors around. They should seek help. You know yourself. Because if you continue to do that, you yourself, you will not be happy. Because once you're doing that, the other person is not happy. You are not happy. And you might not know. Next time, it might be something else. It becomes kind of fatal. So the only thing that they have to do is to seek help. Don't deny yourself and don't deceive yourself. You know yourself that you are the type of person that you don't want people to invade your space. So you need to seek help. If you really, really want to be in a relationship or you want to be around people all the time, then you need to seek help. That's my advice to the person. Anybody else? Is Stacy there? Stacy. Okay, is Miss Nanama there? Okay.
Sorry, I think I've got all the questions today. I just wanted to.
No, go on. I said that, you listen, that is why we are all here. Do you understand? We are all here to help each other. This COVID-19 has hit a lot of people. It has hit a lot of people, and they don't even know what to do. They don't know what, a lot of people are afraid. They are afraid. So my dear, carry on. We are all doing it together. I'm listening.
Yeah, thank you. My statement or my question or what I want to address is to do with COVID-19 and also what is currently going on with the Floyd issue with how he was brutally murdered and stuff. So obviously the government has alerted people that you need to social distance, you need to stay away. But obviously like this unfortunate circumstances whereby this Black guy was murdered by a police, and it's now a lot of riots are happening. It's obviously starting to happen here in the UK as well, because obviously we're trying to stand for Black people. But when you're talking about family confinement and looking at things like that, what advice would you give to, like, let's say a parent with a teenage son or teenage daughter that wants to go out on the streets and protest for Black Lives Matter, at the same time bearing in mind that we've been told that do not leave the house, do not try and be in close contact with other people?
Well, thank you very much. My advice to the parents is that, we all know that the severity of this COVID-19. We all know it as a parent. I don't know whether the parent has educated their children, their teenage children, on COVID-19. Every single parent is supposed to educate their children, whether they are young or they are old. They are supposed to know the severity of this COVID-19. So if you educate your children on that note, there is no way that this row, your child will go and participate in that, because they are saying we should social distance ourselves. Now, if you are going to this gathering or this crowd, you don't know who has got it or who hasn't got it. Remember, this thing is still lingering. It's still around. So you as a parent, you have to make sure that you warn your child, don't go out there to be part of it. As much as we are all upset, everybody is upset, whether you are white or you are Black, everybody is upset because this is somebody's life. You need to warn your child and let the child know the consequences of him or her going out there. You will go out there, you associate yourself with them, you will go and bring in that COVID-19. Maybe that family has not experienced any of that. None of their relatives have had it. This child going out will go and contract it and bring it home. So you as a parent, you need to tell the child the consequences, that if it happens and they take him or her to the hospital, you are not coming there. And when it comes to death, he's going to go alone. You need to make sure you warn the child. Otherwise, they will go and bring it. I know it's very, very painful. It's painful that we have to route. They have to go this and that, social distancing. But now look at what is happening. The thing is still there. So if anything, touch wood, it's going to flare again. So my advice to every single parent, tell your children to mind their own business. This is a black thing, but not a black thing. This is about life, somebody's life. It's painful for all of us, but let the child know to stay away from it. To stay
Hello?
away. Hello, yes.
I also have a contribution. Contribution also to regarding this matter. I also believe that this protest is very good, but also understanding why you're protesting as well is very important, because as much as what have you about as a young, it's about how, you know, you're going to raise your child in a particular environment and how you're going to bring them up so that they don't fall victim just like this man. So as much as, you know, joining protests is good and stuff and you're helping fight for it, at the same time is also to educate your black kids that, you know, this is real and how to deal with things, and what decisions to make, so that when, you know, these things happen to them, they know how to deal with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Gabrielle. Yes, yes, as you rightly said, yes, it's important and it's good for them to protest because of what is happening. This thing has been happening for a very long time, so many years, for over 90 years or whatever years. It's been happening. It has been happening a lot, you know, and now within few weeks, it will go away. They will not do anything about it. They will not do anything about it. That is why I said, well, if there was no COVID-19, then fine. Even if there's no COVID-19, the chances are your child will get hurt when they go out to and join this crowd. The chances are the child would get hurt. But look at this pandemic. As I said, the thing is still lingering. It's still around. So as a parent, you need to warn them. I know they have to protest, but if you value the life of your child and you value the life of your family, you warn your children not to go out there. Warn them not to go, because if anything happens to you, your child, nobody, you know, will be interested. Then people will talk angry, this and that. Within few weeks, months, they've forgotten about your child. And then you have to deal with it for the rest of your life. So as a parent, whether they're upset, they want to join, let them not join for the sake of yourself, the sake of your child and the family. Thank you.
Hello, I wanted to quickly contribute to the discussion regarding this whole incident with the man that died. What I wanted to say to us as a community is we need to take responsibility for our children, not just our own children, but as a community as a whole, the children in a community as a whole. And I feel like it's very important that we do not put the full responsibility of what is going on other races, because we have our own part to play. And I feel like if we're going to protest, yes, let's protest, but there should be practical solutions and strategies in place. Like after this, what happens next? Because what has been happening is a vicious cycle. It's been happening over and over and over again. So it's just that if it's happening now, what are we going to do and what measures are we going to put in place to make sure that it doesn't continue? Because our children are dying. I mean, not just children, adults, like our community is dying, you know, and it's not just this incident, but even amongst us as a community, like we are killing each other. So it's very important that as much as all of this is going on and we're having protests and all these kind of things, like we need to think about practical solutions to how we can raise our children in this system, in this society, and to avoid all these things coming. And it starts from self-love. Like we need to teach our children how to love themselves. Once they learn how to love themselves, it's easier for them to go out and love within our community That's my contribution.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Nana. God richly bless you. Thank you so much. As I said earlier, you want?
Yeah, if possible, please. Just going on from what Sister Nanama said. This is just basically history repeating itself, and it's the same thing that keeps happening again. And the question is, when this dies down, what are you going to do to change things? Because most people just go back to their normal lives. Nothing has changed. It's up to us to change something, to actually not completely eradicate. Hopefully it will eradicate, but to minimize what's actually going on, or even eradicate the whole thing. So we need to change, put practical solutions in place in raising not just our children, but other children as well, helping each other as a community. And I just wanted to say one thing as well, like what you mentioned, Pastor Cynthia, is that fear is a big thing. Fear is what people use to control other people. And we shouldn't allow fear to get to us, because the Most High has everything under control. So a lot of this stuff is happening through fears, but we can't use fear to control us. So that's just my contribution.
Thank you so much, Pastor Ennis. God bless you. God bless you. Yes, it's true. Fear, as I said earlier, is fear. This thing has put a lot of fear in us. A lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of panic in us. So what we have to do, we should not fear. We shouldn't. We should not fear. We should not fear. Just that we have to take precaution. We have to be alert. We have to be informed. We have to be educated concerning this. Don't fear. Just do the right thing. Don't just do the right thing. As I think Gabby said something that the route, this and that, of course, is good and all that. But if you know that there's something called COVID-19 out there, which has taken a lot of people's lives, and there is the government is saying that the only thing that can solve the problem is social distancing yourself and avoiding crowd. If government is saying that, and we all know that that is the solution, apart from our God, you have to make sure that you go by the rules. If you don't, and anything happens to you, it is nobody's problem. It's your problem. Pastor Ernest says something that after this thing, what are we going to do? That's what I said. We are here to help each other. We should change our mindset. Change our mindset and help each other. We have to help each other as a community, not only Black community, to help each other as creation of God, as community, whether Black, green, or yellow. We need to help each other. We need to fight together. We need to voice things together. We should not just say, well, whatever has happened, it didn't happen to me. So it's not that. It is not that. We need to help each other. And we need to warn each other and to make sure that we are doing the right thing.
I've got a quick contribution, please.
Go on.
Yeah, just going off the statement that was made about what are we going to do after this. This is history repeating itself. I think the main issue is that we can protest all we want and all we like, but at the end of the day, this will not have happened if it did not get the media attention and coverage that it had received, because a lot of this thing has been happening behind closed doors. Yes. So I think at the end of the day, we can protest all we want to the government to change things, but they are not the ones that are on the streets. They are not the ones that are the police officers. So I think it comes down to the mindset of these people thinking it is acceptable to treat Black people or the ethnic minority in such manner. They have been given some form of authority to believe that they can get away with these things. And I think it's something that's been going on. So the government can do things to an extent, but at the end of the day, it comes down to these people that have been given the power as police officers, as judges, or whoever to protect us. So that's my contribution. And sorry, also, if we are not careful as a community, this thing has been happening to us for centuries. A lot of these things, it's like it's taking us back to the past. And if you're not careful, you start feeling hate, and hate is not a good thing. So once you start watching what is going on, all these lynching, all these killings, you'll start feeling hate, and hate is a very dangerous thing. So that's what I'm going to contribute to.
Thank you so much. You hit the nail right on the head. You have hit the nail right on the head. That is exactly it. See, it's about us. As you said, we can protest, we can do this. Whilst we are protesting, remember, other people, our own people will also die. People will die, and we are trying to save lives. So if we are trying to save lives, and this thing is, I mean, we can prevent other deaths. If we don't, because the police or whoever, they have been given the authority and the power to do whatever. When they shoot or they kill you. So we have to have a mindset that no, we will not give them that authority or the power to, destroy us. As you rightly said, it brings hatred. So sometimes when you look at we watch all these videos and all, it brings hate. It shouldn't be so. We shouldn't hate each other. We are all God's creation. We shouldn't hate each other. That is why I said, as parents, we need to educate our children. We need to educate them, let them know the right things, the right measures that they have to take. Because if we don't do that, this thing is like it go in circles. It will every day. It's like same old, same old. So we as parents, we have to train our children not to be part of anything. They shouldn't be part of anything, because the police or the authority, they are not going to stop. They are not going to stop. They will even incite us to do that. When they do that, we should have the mentality that no, we're not going to allow them to do that. We should tell our children to stay away from trouble. They should stay away from trouble. If we don't do that, and everything that they do will respond, then they will also retaliate. They will retaliate. I know this thing has been going on for centuries. Yes, it has. We can stop it. Whether they see us as the minority or they see us as whatever, inferior, that is not the issue. The issue is we have to play our part. We have to come together and have one voice and help each other. Thank you. Now, I'm wrapping it up. For those of you who came very, very late, this is about family matters. And I explained what family matters is all about. So I'm going to, before I go off air, I'm going to tell you what a family matter is all about. Family matters is about day-to-day issues that the family deals with. That is with marital, parenting, addressing different types of abuse. Different type of abuse, that's sibling abuse, childhood abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, spiritual abuse, and teen domestic abuse. We deal with all kinds of abuse. And also, we also deal with people who feel neglected. We deal with people who feel neglected as well. We deal with those issues as well. And people with low self-esteem, people who haven't got confidence, people who see themselves as nothing and nobody. We give counseling to all these people, and there has been positive results. We also deal with financial matters and also sibling rivalry. So family matters, deals with a lot of things. It deals with family issues. So any issue in family, we deal with that. So that is this platform is this is not about church. This one is not about church. It's about family from all race. So anybody who needs help will come, we'll talk, and then we'll share ideas for everybody to, bring their thing and everybody to take something home. So I thank everybody on this platform for joining us today. I thank you so much. And I'm happy that we were able to kind of resolve some issues. And since I am at home, the positive COVID-19, I am in the positive one, I should say. I've got time on my hands to do these seminars. So until I go back to work, I'm going to do it every Wednesday from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. We will talk about different issues. We'll talk about different issues. So next week, Wednesday, from 6:30 to 8, we will be on board, and then we'll bring another topic, and then we talk about it. So those of you who have time on your hands, try and create something. Try and do something with your life. Even if you have to sort the family documents out, like insurance, we have different types of insurance that maybe you've been waiting or wanting to do that you haven't had the time to do. This is the time for you to sit. And this is the time for you to sit and talk to your husband. This is the time for you to sit and talk to your children. And this is the time for you to also have a good relationship with God. I thank you, all of you, and God richly bless all of you. Next week, Wednesday, we'll meet again. So, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.